A point marks one spot. A ray goes one way. An angle is a turn.
Welcome to the reed bank. Look down at this muddy river's edge. At first glance, these fallen twigs and scattered reeds just look like a random, chaotic pile of sticks. I'm Kit, and to understand geometry, we have to look closely at these scattered pieces and give them order. My friend Pip, the fox, is already investigating. He is sorting through the natural materials, finding the straightest stems and the sharpest points. To build any geometric figure, we have to start with the simplest possible building block and learn the exact name for each piece we construct. The simplest part of all is a point. A point represents an exact spot in space, and it has no size of its own. Pip firmly marks that exact spot in the mud using a single painted data dot. In geometry, we call this a point. Now, watch what happens when he pushes a straight path directly through that point. If that path goes perfectly straight and continues on forever in both directions, we use an arrowhead on each end to show that it never stops. This is a line. It is straight and it goes on forever both ways. Next, Pip nudges a twig that starts at an exact point on one side, but runs off with a single arrowhead on the other. Because it has one endpoint and travels forever in just one direction, we call this a ray. And if the path is bounded on both sides, with a dot at each end, a definite length, and no arrows at all, it is a line segment. Points, lines, rays, and line segments. These are the essential raw materials we use to set boundaries and build any two-dimensional shape. Things get a little more complex when two separate rays intersect at a single shared point. That meeting place creates an angle. Pip drags two straight reeds across the mud until their ends meet perfectly in the center. When they meet to form a perfect square corner, like an L shape, it is a right angle. If Pip closes the opening so it is narrower or smaller than a square corner, it becomes an acute angle. And if he pushes the intersection open so it is wider or bigger than a square corner, that is an obtuse angle. The specific size of the opening dictates the angle's name. This gives us a precise way to describe any corner of any shape. Beyond single corners, we also need words for how entirely separate lines relate to one another in physical space. Pip lays one reed perfectly flat, straight across another. Because these lines cross each other to form a perfect square corner, we say they are perpendicular. Next, he positions two lines so they slide right next to each other without touching. These lines are exactly the same distance apart. No matter how far they extend, they will never meet. They are parallel. Pip joins four segments together to see how these names work together. These two sides across from each other are parallel because they'll never touch. And at every corner, the segments meet at square angles, making them perpendicular. This specific combination is what creates a square. The chaotic pile from the mud bank is gone. In its place is a clean, highly structured layout of geometry. A point is a spot, a line goes forever both ways, a ray forever one way, and a segment has two ends. Two rays at a point make an angle, right, acute, or obtuse. And two lines can be perpendicular at a square corner or parallel so they never meet. We are pretty proud of all the hard work that we have done here today on the muddy riverbank. Now that you know the parts, you can name every corner and every side of the shapes you find in the world. So think about that square again. Which sides are parallel to each other, and what kind of angle sits at each corner? Take a look around. I'll see you at the next bend.
Points, lines, rays, and angles. Now you can name them. See them everywhere.